For August 6th, let's take a look and see what is going on for Scorpio this week. My favorites. I love my Scorpio and my Sages. All right, here we go. For you, Scorpio. Two of Cups, High Priestess, Seven of Swords, Four of Swords, Queen of Wands. Interesting. Oh, yep, I was just about to comment on the Four of Swords, which kind of stuck into my little third eye there for a second. I'm feeling a little tension for you. If you notice on the Four of Swords, I think it's a sword of Damocles. I can't remember how to pronounce the name, but we've got a sword with a point on the tip of the nose. Usually that means tension, deadlines, things that are pressure and feeling a little overwhelmed, right? So next to that, we have the Judgment card. This one has an anvil and a three-headed dragon. Typically that represents some kind of tension. There's something coming in, you know, that you're worried about being heavy. But the first card that comes out for you is the Two of Cups, which means balance, love, and partnership, followed by the High Priestess. So what are your instincts telling you? What's interesting, though, is the Seven of Cups precedes that Four of Swords. Or I'm sorry, Seven of Swords precedes that Four of Swords, and what it gives us is relief. So if you're feeling as if the tension has been building, and if it's like more than you can bear, I'm promising you that these next few stages are going to be things getting easier. You have the Seven of Swords. This is a breakaway from holding on to things too tightly and not being cut. And then we have the Six of Swords. So this represents things getting easier. The swords are pointing away from you. And so what that references is, you know, maybe the things are going to begin to shift for you so that they're not so heavy. All right. So pay attention a little bit to like the clouds clearing somewhat. You have the Ace of Cups as well. So Ace of Cups and Two of Cups, I want you to think of, actually you have three aces. Hold on a minute. Let me slow down a second. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, except for the Ace of Pentacles. Okay. So your major arcana represent the 22 archetypes, right? Beyond that, we have the minor cards, which seem to be a little more subtle. Yet in between those two, there's a pivot point between the minor cards and the major, and those are our aces. You have three of them. So I want you to think of that as pivot points. Pivot points in your life. You have the Ace of Cups, the Ace of Wands, and the Ace of Swords. Swords representing decisions, cups representing love, and wands representing work. So what is shifting for you? If you think about this clearly, love and money tend to move in the same direction. Expansion, expansion, expansion. You also have the Two of Coins, talks to us about having a job offer, opportunity, balance and coercion between two that is for the mutual benefit. So you have that in Cups too. Love and money is going to advance for you in the next stage. So let's just talk about how we have the Ace of Wands, though. The cool thing about the Ace of Wands is it references capability and the ability to utilize resources. He has an entire laboratory at his disposal, which means that you have all the resources necessary to accomplish the things that you have in the next steps. We have the Four of Coins. If you're looking for money and you're looking for ways to make money, this job offer is soon to be coming, or an improvement. This doesn't necessarily mean a job change. It can also be referencing to like improvement in your employment or a raise or a promotion, right? So I do also feel as if Scorpio has been on their feet quite a bit, working or using their vital force and physical energy more so than lately. So you might be finding yourself to be a little overtired, etc. The Page of Wands, sorry, Knight of Wands references new beginnings. So with the Two of Coins and the Knight of Wands talks to us about shifting energy. Just remember those aces are pivot points. And key, like the key thing to remember is a couple of the major cards that are showing up for you. You have three, right? One of them is Judgment, which is tension. Tension is going to break, but you have the High Priestess and the Wheel of Fortune. This has to do with timing and trusting your instincts. So currently, the High Priestess is telling us that you inherently know the outcome of certain things that are going to come. It's trust yourself. My favorite phrase is trust yourself implicitly, right? Trust yourself, speak your truth. And then we have the Wheel of Fortune. And what does the Wheel of Fortune talk to us about? It talks about fate, talks about timing, talks about the right time and being, you know, aware that cycles do occur and that this is in your next phase, in your next blessing. So we do have the Queen of Wands, and what that talks to us about is nurturing. So how, like, you look at your court cards as ways in which we behave. Kings are very forward, and they're also very direct. Queens are a little bit more subtle, and they talk about the group and the whole. Like if you want a man to go get something, they're going to kind of go forward in a little different way, whereas a queen is going to look at things from a global standpoint. Just in general, please don't beat me up over this gender stuff, okay? But I don't usually use kings and queens to reference male or female. I talk about affect and how your behavior is showing us these different qualities. But I can promise you that this tension is about to break, even though you're exhausted and feeling like you're coming up against the wire. Expansion, expansion, expansion is the next phases for you. Ace of Wands, trust yourself. You're fully capable. You have everything that you need. I love seeing that. Just, you know, in my readings, you see me talk about what I see, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what I don't see. You don't see any drastic changes that are coming because you don't have the Death card or the Tower, unlike Libra. Libra had the Death card, drastic shifts. You are having some shifts, but they're ones that I think you can bank upon and see the progression of. So you can kind of see where they're going if you're paying attention. Let's pull some cards and check on your Scorpio moon reading and see where your energy is and your circumstance. Please subscribe on my YouTube and hang out with me there. I love seeing your faces over there. That's my favorite platform. In case you aren't able to catch them on these other platforms, you can find them in playlists and in order. All right, here we go. Nine of Cups. Ha. So the Nine of Cups typically comes out with a little bit of energy toward wanting to have a good time. I feel like in order to have a good time, you feel like you're taking from some other activity and you're not enjoying things as much. You have the Fool card for opportunity, the Moon card for fear and secrets and worrying about this next phase. You feel as if it's foggy. Here's the thing. I think that Scorpio is expecting conflict. If you look at these cards, you're trying to do the right thing, keep your family. You want to bring back some energy that you used to carry. So for example, you know, we used to be more kind or virtuous, or I don't know, the Hierophant usually talks to us about how things used to be. Also, your mindset, whatever it is that drives you, whatever it is that is in your head, where you are trying to think about what measure, what moral compass are we using in order to decide on how to move forward? And that could be anything. It could be anything from religion to childhood upbringing to cultural. But this Hierophant, the High Priest, is our internal program. So what is it that you're thinking, or what is it that you have in the back of your head where you're like, I have to get it just right? Okay. So I do feel like you're having a hard time enjoying yourself. Not that anything's kind of crazy, but you do feel as if, you know, things are a little tight right now. I can promise you that that's going to shift. In the center, we still have this Eight of Swords for you. So you're concerned about, you know, whether or not, because you can't see the solution, you can't see the outcome, you can't see the next steps, so therefore you're freaking out just a little bit. That's what the Moon card is all about. I'm afraid. Everybody has to go to the dentist, but we're afraid to go, and it's necessary. This is one of those things where you feel like these next steps are necessary, yet you're hesitated on pulling the trigger on whatever that is. Yet your foundation has to do with doing the right thing. You've got the Ten of Pentacles. You want to set yourself up for the future. You want to make sure that you have a better benefit. You want to make sure that the benefit is for all. If you look here, the Ten of Pentacles has to do with legacy. What am I leaving behind and how am I behaving in order to show integrity and reputation? We have the Page of Pentacles. There's something here that says that Scorpio does not want to begin again. They don't want to repeat certain patterns, and so therefore they're staying out of the way until they can see moving forward. In this reading, we also have the, man, I need glasses, it ain't even right. I wanted to say 6, but this is the Four of Cups. So the Four of Cups is our card for missing the old ways, or missing, you know, missing an ex, or missing the family, or missing the way things used to be, and kind of a little pouty. So I would be careful not to bring that forward into your conversations, because we perpetuate these moods. You know, it's very hard to reframe from a bad mood or a situation that's just been riding us for a while to feel any positivity toward it. And so what we see here is the Five of Wands. Scorpio is itching for a fight, itching to let it out, itching to like rather blow it up and clear the way than have to deal with this pressure any much longer. And we have the Knight of Wands, which means you're going to be the leading edge to this, okay? Because ultimately the most important thing to you is your crossroads, the decision that you're making and the thing that you're intending to do next. So what you really want to do is, you know, at this point, the risk far The benefit far outweighs the risk. So you're feeling as if it wouldn't matter what you do, so you might as well do something, right? So what do we do about these moods? Constant reframe, right? Focus on where you're going rather than where you're coming from in order to bring more of that element inward. So we're embodying what we want to bring in rather than continuing to bring that past negativity forward. Let's see here. Let me see if I'm missing anything. All right, so here's one more thing that I do want to bring up is the Seven of Swords. The Seven of Swords has a lot of connotations. Initially, when I first started playing with my Dragon Tarot deck, this one here, the Seven of Swords always gave me the impression of someone being sneaky. Now, later on in teaching tarot, what I learned is the Seven of Swords can often talk to us about making the best of a situation. So if you notice here, he's going through a battlefield and he's collecting swords. This is something that would look like a grave robber or somebody that's doing something unethical. But what's true is he's left behind in this community and he's cleaning up his yard or he's cleaning up the fields. And you know, you ever heard that biblical expression to turn your swords into plows? But this is making the best of a situation. So in what ways are you trying to hype yourself up to tolerate the way things are right now? Or in what ways are you taking the current material and making the best of it? Sometimes this does reference being sneaky. Are you going behind things and self-sabotaging your forward motion by not being open? Because I do feel like this is a pressure cooker for you right now. You're like right there on the line. Things are about to shift, but I feel like Scorpio's got a little bit of pressure built up here. So a couple of things you can do: find ways to have an outlet, like blow off some steam before you do it to the people you love. You know, I like to give a little warning, but sometimes that doesn't work. Hey man, about to lose my shit. And then I lose my shit and it's still a surprise. Okay, so let's take a look at what your card is from the Divination of the Ancients for your oracle card for this week. And then I'm going to run into a client and come back and talk to you guys with Sagittarius and Capricorn. Trying to get all caught up. We'll see how much steam I have to go to today before I get a little airheaded here. All right, here we go. Wishbone, affirmation. Okay, good. So it's fun that I was just talking about reframing. What is reframing? Reframing is, I like to use the example of coming home from work. Honey, I'm home, right? You come home from work and you say the same thing. I had a long day. I worked too hard. I'm exhausted. Today sucked. Let's say you walk home today, like I keep a bowl of salt by my front door so I can tap the salt and wash my hands of whatever was going on that day. And instead of coming in the house and saying, I had a long day, leave me alone, let's come in the house and say, I worked hard today. I'm grateful to rest. I'm happy to be with the family. I'm excited to relax. That's an example of reframe. I had a hard day. You're putting that behind you and you're walking into your house with a reframe. It's a super simple one to try, but this is affirmation. So this goes hand in hand with the reframes. And one thing, because I was just talking about this, which is fun, and if you want to let go of something, you can't break down a system without replacing it with something better. So what is it you want to replace things with? Start creating some affirmations so you can bring manifestation. Speak to what it is that you want to create. I want to thank you for hanging out with me. I will catch you on the flip side for, like I said, Sagittarius and Capricorn will be next. Please let me know how you feel your reading went. Like, subscribe, and share. Tell me where you are in the world. And if you want to book a reading, find me at